Hey, it's Jabbo. Welcome to Jabbo37, the channel that has changed names so many times. So if you're watching this on the replay, I'm talking to nobody. I mean, Yannick's in the chat, but when you do these spontaneous live streams, yeah, usually people are unprepared for them. It's usually better to tell people, hey, I'm going to go live at a certain time and then do it. And hopefully the sound works. I'm filming this on a GoPro Hero 8, I think it's called, or 8 Black. So I did a live stream on it on Trains Are Fun the other day, and it seemed to work. So hopefully this will work. Oh wow, it's widescreen. I tried to set it up as not widescreen. Hey, Cajun Yeti. So yeah, so this is my second week of full-time YouTube, Bricklink, eBay. So I'm getting worse and worse about waking up on time to get going. Hey, Lego Freak. And so I wanted to give an update what I've been doing. I haven't posted as many videos as I thought. You know, really, even I think I said this last week in the video on demand, I should be posting a video every day on every channel. But this is, everybody's going back to school, so it's a downtime for views, since a lot of times it's younger people. Even when the video is not intended for younger people, that's the ones that are watching it, and it's hard for them to watch when they're in school. So do better, kids. Watch on your phone when you're in school instead of paying attention. And so I've been listing things on Bricklink, eBay. Sales are slow, and I think it's, again, that's the time of year. You know, my buyers aren't people that are in school, but I think when it's back to school time, the sales just go down. I expect things to pick up in October, but it's not October. It's the end of August. I try to add $1,000 every day to my Bricklink store. You know, is my audio good? I don't know what it sounds like. I could go unmute and then get the feedback thing. If anybody's watching, tell me, can you hear me? But so I try to list $1,000 a day between Bricklink and eBay. And so I've been consolidating. I got these boxes. I didn't even, when I set this up, these boxes weren't visible, but now they're visible. I'm going to be doing a video later on BrickTsar. I'm going to go through these 3 boxes and consolidate them and get things out. It's a little bit quiet. I don't know where the microphone is. Okay. There's nothing, I can't change the audio level since I'm using the GoPro. I just have to remember to stay close to the GoPro. I'm inside a hole. Oh, that's the name of your channel. All right. Thank you, Yannick. And thank you, Cajun Yeti. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to be going through these boxes. That video will probably post in several days. Because I try to do 1 video a day on BrickTsar. So sometimes I get ahead on the videos. There's 3 boxes that I want to get. These are the big Lego. Let me slide this over. These are the big Lego boxes you get when you place orders online, and I think I can consolidate everything into 1 box, and I think there's things in there I'll take out and sell. Some of these have already been robbed. I've already taken some of the things out, but I thought, you know what, do a video, show everybody what's in those boxes, and go from there. So I did some numbers. I looked at what I've sold on eBay and Bricklink, and in 2 weeks it's $1,000, which is really good. It could be better, but it's $1,000 in 2 weeks. That's $500 a week. So it's not quite what I make at my regular job, but it does help. It does really help. And I've posted a lot of videos for TrainSar, because usually I do good to post 4 or 5 videos a month there, and I've been pretty much doing videos every day. A couple of days I did 2 videos. YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, has gone ahead and marked some of them as made for kids. which is a little frustrating. I see why they do it, because it features a lot of Thomas and Friends stuff, but I see others that aren't marked for kids, even on my own channel. And they've been pretty quick about it, and I appeal them, and I never get a direct response. They just always say they're right and I'm wrong, basically. And I did post another video that I intentionally marked for kids because my grandson was in it a lot, and yeah, that's a good thing to go ahead and mark those as for kids. But anyway, yeah, so the YouTube hasn't really picked up like I had hoped. The last time I did the O-scale trains, I got those videos did phenomenal from the start. So they're doing decent, but they're not as great as they could be. So I'm down here trying to think of what I'm going to do next. I have mail science boxes I could be reviewing, but nobody will watch those videos. They sent me 4 boxes. 2 of them are the same. I think they accidentally sent me a duplicate, but they sent me 4 boxes, and they were just samples. They weren't 4 videos. They just said, here, you can try these out. They weren't expecting me to do a video, so I never did a video on them, but I should. I did my Vsauce video, and that's one they did expect me to do a video, and that was the last video I posted here. But yeah, I know nobody's going to watch those. I had some people suggesting that I do slot cars again, and I tell you what, as I get older, so the train videos I did upstairs in the living room, they really took their toll on me, because it's getting down on the floor, setting up track, and taking it apart, and filming on the floor. It's very hard, and so that's one of those things, when you actually do something, you see the challenges that other people may face. So it may look like things are super easy, barely an inconvenience for people, but it's really, really hard to film some of these types of videos that do well. And that's why you don't see a lot of them, a lot of these types of videos, where you're setting up large track layouts through a house or outside. We want to do it outside. We had a storm come through last night, which is great. I'm really hoping for storms. So let me, I think I mentioned it in the last video, but since I'm here at home, this kind of proves that I'm not worried, because it's a live stream. I work for the phone company, AT&T. I work on 911 systems, and so ours are like, we're like firemen. Like we do routine maintenance, like rebooting stuff with a purpose, checking things, cleaning things. Customers get little minor troubles every week, but the major things don't usually come around every day, and it's usually one site here or there each week has something major, usually after a storm. And so we had the big thunderstorm last night, and I was like, yes, that's what we need, thunderstorms. Not because I'm hoping that a 911 center has major troubles, but I just know that they don't have the people to fix them, like because we're not there. And I when I look at the news, I see how they say, oh, AT&T, we're not missing a beat. We're doing fine. We're hiring contractors to come in and do the work. I don't know. And this, depending on where you're watching in the world, this is only affecting the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, I think are the states that are involved. It's the old Bell South area, which is where I started with the phone company. And I work on the Metro Atlanta 911 system. So there's over 35 sites around the perimeter of Metro Atlanta that I cover, including City of Atlanta, Fulton County, Gwinnett County, McDonough, Douglas County, Paulding County, Cobb County. Then all the little stuff. There's a lot of little sites around in the metro Atlanta, like Doraville. Then you got in Gwinnett, they got multiple sites like Duluth, Snellville, Swanee, Lawrenceville, Norcross. We got all those. In Atlanta, you got College Park, East Point. Just trying to, and then some of the sites have dual sites. They'll have a main site and a backup site, like Douglas County, Gwinnett County, Atlanta, Fulton County. Then there's the airport. Airport has its own 911 system. So these are places I go all the time. And we had some projects that were going on, and there's like one of the counties is supposed to be getting a new system. It's going to turn it up. I don't know. So I really didn't think this would go on for 2 weeks. And so it's been nice being home and being able to be like a staycation, staying at home, but you're not getting paid. Hey, Lego Freak says, we only have one 911 center in my county. They're the ones, yeah. They're in the process of updating a lot of their equipment. And that's usually the way it is. Usually a county has their own. And the county will handle police, fire, medical. Then you got the county, you got sheriff, and sometimes they handle all of it. Then it's a highly populated county, there may be multiple sites, and they could all be under one. Some states do the entire 911 system. Georgia is one of those that everybody wants to have their own little hands in the 911 pie. And you know what? I've been working for the phone company for 25 years, almost 26 years, and I don't think I've ever talked about where I work as much as I have in this video already. Oh, Cosmine says, I was watching Lost, paused, and hopped in on the live stream. Hey, Jabba, how's things? Yeah, so I'm at home. I'm not supposed to be at home. I'm supposed to be at work. And you're watching Lost? Oh, my goodness. I actually watched somebody's video talking about the ending of Lost. I'm not going to spoil anything because it's very possible that you've never watched the whole series, but that was one of those things that I look for. I think it came on Mondays, and I used to look forward to watching it. There would always be things in it I didn't like. I did like when they threw in the time travel and all that, but I gotta be honest. I watched somebody else justifying the ending. I thoroughly hated the ending of that show. I mean, it ended correctly as far as how it relates to the beginning, but yeah, I didn't like it. Sorry, Cosme. Hey, thanks for taking my mind off of AT&T. So, and I, sometimes with my job, some of the troubles, they're really easy to fix if you know what you're doing. I'll tell a story. When I first started 911, this is in 1999, and I knew nothing when I started, and back then they had dial-up modems that would the alarm computer. So there was this computer, very basic computer, because it's 1999, and it wasn't even as good as like a Windows 95 computer. But this computer, it monitored the site. So you had all these relays that would trigger alarms. If an alarm came in and tell the computer there's an alarm, then the computer would dial up the main system somewhere and send those alarms. So they would know pretty quickly, even for dial-up days, when an alarm came in. But it's a computer, and every now and then it would just freeze up. And so I remember the first time I go out there with Slim, the guy that trained me. He's passed away since, but we go in there and he just pushes the power button, and then he pushes it again, and the computer comes back on. Takes it minute or two to, actually probably several minutes to come back up. And then I was like, is that it? He's like, yeah. So all you had to do was reboot the computer, all right? And you're like, oh, that's really easy. And so that was my first experience with reboot. And you're like, is that all all you gotta do is go push a button? So I say that, well, there's this other technician, I'm not going to say who he is, but he ended up retiring about a year after this, but he got banned from going to one of our sites because he had this exact same trouble. In fact, it was the exact same site where I learned about it. So that computer, it's in a locked cabinet, so you need a key to open it. And it's a pretty standard generic key, and we have it in our cabinet. Or I keep one with me. I have my own key that I can get into it now. But then you had a AT&T cabinet that had an AT&T lock on it. You open that lock, you go in there and get the key, so you can open the cabinet. That's a server. It's like a server. It is a server rack, and then you can get in there and access the computer. That keeps just anybody from going in there and messing with the equipment. And back then, the only computer was the monitoring computer. Everything else was the old phone technology, not computer-based. I mean, I'm sure it had some type of computer to it, but it used old phone technology. So anyway, he gets the trouble after hours that the computer's not checking in, so he goes there to reboot the computer. So, mind you, all he's got to do is reboot this computer. He can't find the key to open the cabinet. So it's right there in the cabinet. And he's got to have the key, because the key is the same key that opens the building that he reports to. So it's like he should have the key. So he says he, well, this is what I found out later, is that he couldn't find the key. So what did he do? All he needs to do is reboot this computer. He goes over to the breaker box for the 911 system, turns off the breaker, and turns it back on. Reboot, right? What do you think happened when he turned the power breaker? So this is the main AC power. He turns the breaker off, turns it back on. He took the whole site down. And it doesn't just immediately come back up. And there's like, oh. So they lost their mind. Like back then, there was not, like, I don't think they had a building UPS. There was UPSs on certain equipment, but it wasn't, the power wasn't supposed to go out like that. And yeah, it caused some major issues, and it came back up. Everything came back up. No lives were lost, but they banned him from ever going back there. So so that's where, like, you can have a little bit of knowledge and it's just enough to do a lot of damage. So just because all you have to do is reboot stuff, it doesn't mean you should reboot it. In fact, there are certain servers that if you reboot them, it will drop the call. With 911 calls, and the technology is changing, so now even when the call drops, it can re-present it to them. But if you take down the VoIP server on some of these systems that haven't been updated yet, yeah, you drop the call. And you say, but I can take the main computer and reboot it, and they don't even know I did it, other than it might cause an alarm. But I know that somebody they have that's a manager that goes in there. My direct manager, she wouldn't know she wouldn't even know which computer is ours. It's not, it's not a shot. It's just, there's so much stuff out there. I was like, how could you know? The only way you know is spending years working on this stuff. But yeah, that's my AT&T story. Okay, Dalton Jackson asks, what are you striking over? So the contract ended in August 26th, or August, the end of August. We started striking before then. Actually, no, maybe it was the beginning of August. Yeah, it was the first week in August when the contract ended. So with the union, they negotiate a contract every 3 to 5 years, and then whatever is agreed upon between both sides is good for them. And then everybody has to abide by the contract. The workers, like me, we have to follow the processes that are in the contract, and the company has to. And so every year when these renegotiations happen, the union tries to give us better stuff, and the company tries to take away. And I've been like this almost 26 years at this. It is always, every single contract we hadn't got better. It's always take away. They always take away. Always take away. In fact, some people get mad at the union because they let the company take stuff away. And that's what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to, like for our health insurance benefits, they're wanting to double what we pay out of pocket out of our check each month or each year. And they're also wanting to us things that we had a pretty good benefit on. They're wanting us to pay full price for prescriptions and things, and raise the deductible to where we'd have to pay like $6,600 out of pocket before insurance covered anything. So yeah, it's a lot worse than what it currently is. In fact, when I started, we had, I guess they would be like some of the best health insurance of anybody. We didn't pay anything. You didn't pay anything out of pocket or out of your check. Nothing came out of your check, and you paid a deductible. And that was really good, or a deductible or a copay. So it was, when it was Bell South, it was really good insurance, and it's just gotten worse every time. It gets worse. So I had to set up a health savings account because I have to pay so much. I got these braces. It's so expensive, and so the insurance doesn't cover a lot of this. I paid $5,700 for some of the work I had done, and so yeah, I had to pay for that. So, and I'm not necessarily complaining because I know sometimes people have to pay more, and they have to pay more each month for their insurance. Is just it's so terrible here, for people, and so they're trying to take that away. But there's also other workers that do stuff that is a lot of residential work, and they treat them terribly, and they're trying to give them, the union is trying to give them similar benefits to what we have. They're not going to get the same pay and things like that, but they're trying to give them more protection where the company can't just work them to death till they quit, which is what they do. It's like they don't get consecutive off days. They work around the clock almost, and they don't get paid as much hourly. And it's so they're fighting for those people. And it's funny. It's not funny, but people like me, I'm not crossing the picket line, but the ones that are the ones that, when I say crossing the picket line, that means they're going to work so they can get paid. You can choose to do that. Even if you're in the union, you can say, I'm going to go to work because I need the money. And some people do that because they don't have a savings. They don't have an alternative way of earning income. So they go, and it's like, I feel bad for them because it's actually, they're going against their own best interest in a way, because the long-term benefits could outweigh any short-term pay that you get. Oh, Pro Lego Channel, I love this. He says, my boss can't do my job, but I can't do their job, so it's all even. And that's true. And it's like, sometimes when I see what goes on in management, it's a lot of nonsense, but then there is a lot of, it's like my job. There is a lot of nonsense, but then there's things that I'm really needed for. And so in management, they give them a lot of nonsense work, but then the company, if there were no managers, the company wouldn't function. So the work I do, there's 6 of us that do it. Actually, it's 5 right now. There's only 5 that do what I do. And all 5 of us could work all year long with no management. We don't need any management until there's a problem. So my manager I see my manager every month because they got to do safety on us. They got to make sure we're being safe. They got to check our vehicles, check our first aid kits. And it's kind of, it's like you're being treated like a child, but it's like, I understand it. I don't have a problem with it because it's AT&T protecting themselves from lawsuits, from workers, unnecessary worker comp things, you know, making sure the employees aren't taking shortcuts, make sure we have all the personal protection equipment we need when we need it, driving safely, making sure our vehicles are in working order. So that's her job every month, to check all that. Outside of that, it's like, I don't need my manager, but until there's a major problem that I don't have the authority to make other people do stuff. And that has happened several times. I actually got a gift card from the management because one day I was working, and again, I only work on 911 stuff, but we had an outage, and it was, the cable was bad. So it's the copper cable was bad, and it'd been bad, but I'd always move it to another pair. But anyway, it got really bad, and I'm standing there. We got these boxes, they're kind of green. I'm standing at the boxes where all the wire connections are, and I'm checking things, and it's a mess. This box was a mess. And this guy comes up to me, and so again, it's near a jail because that's where it's the government building. So you got the courthouse, the 911 center, the jail. So what is near jails? If you haven't noticed, there's usually bail bonds companies. So there's all these bail bonds companies around there. And one of the bail bond people came up to me, and he's like, our internet has been down for a week. And I'm like, I know, was that? And I asked him what his account was, if it was AT&T, and I looked up his information. I said, yeah, it's in this box, and it's definitely going to be down. He said, can you do something? So I called my manager, and I said, this cable is bad. I can't get anybody to come out here and fix it. I said, we keep working around the bad cable. Can you get somebody out here? And she did. Talked to the manager over the cable. When I say cable, it's not like cable TV. It's what we call our phone cables. And those require special equipment to get into the splices, get into the air, the stuff that's in the air, stuff that's underground, and things like that. So the guy came out there. You know, I stayed the whole time. And the guy comes out, and he's like, I found the problem. So actually what had happened is up the road, and I didn't know because I didn't know how the cable ran there. I know now. A car apparently at some time had ran over one of our pedestals. So there had been an accident at this intersection, and there's one of these little pedestals. It's only like 2 or 3 feet high, where the cable splice is. That's where the cable is underground. It comes up, and they can splice 2 different sections of cable together, or multiple different cables together to go different ways. And so a car had run over that and destroyed it. But nobody ever told the phone company. And that stuff's pretty much waterproof, even if they take the cover off and it rains. But if you run over it and smash it, then you start having problems. And that's what had happened. And nobody had fixed it. And so he was able to fix it. So when he fixed it, it fixed our problems. It fixed the all the bail bonds people's problems. And that guy at the bail bonds place had reported the trouble a week ago, and nobody had come. Nobody fixed it. And so it took me talking to my manager to get it fixed. So that's the types of things that come up, and I got a gift card for that one. I don't know why I was just doing my job. Yeah. So Union Pacific 4014, is the big boy going through your town? I don't know. Is there a calendar for that? Because that's one of my, you know what? I doubt it. Pacific Big Boy Tour. Let's see. Let's look at the schedule. No. No, it's you know what? I know we live on the other side of mountains. Now I'm looking at the Big Boy tour, and it's all Midwest and Texas. So it looks like it's Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado. Well, there's mountains, but it's on this side of the Rockies. It's in that flat area. When we went to I went to a class in Colorado, and it's pretty flat in areas where it's not the Rockies. And then it goes up through what is that? Nebraska, Iowa, goes all the way to Rochelle. That's in Illinois. Comes back down through Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, back into Texas. Man, so the closest place that it would come would be over there in the southeastern part of Missouri. Is that St. Louis? Can't tell in this maps. So it is definitely the Big Boy. I don't think can make it on the track to where I live in Georgia. I would love to see that, though. I would love to see that. Let me see the schedule again. Nebraska, September, Rochelle, Illinois. Man, Saturday, September 7th. No public access. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, that's one of my dreams as far as live trains would be to see the Big Boy actually going. It's an amazing thing. So Lego Freak, we had an issue similar to that at my house. It was an issue with the aerial lines. I've seen many cable lines get hit before. Usually we cut them if they're across the main road. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you another AT&T. This actually, I think this might be a Bell South story. And I may have said this sometime on another video somewhere, but I used to work at night. I used to work midnight to 8, then they changed it to midnight to 9. They started forcing me to go to lunch. And I get a call from AT&T or Bell South or whoever it was. I think it was Bell South, but they said we're getting calls from a DOT in Marietta about our cable laying down, but we don't have any troubles in that area. Can you go check to see what they're talking about and see if it's actually a phone cable that they're talking about? So I go over there, and this is a major intersection in Marietta, Johnson's Ferry Road at Roswell Road. So it's like at that point, and the cable that they were talking about was laying across Johnson's Ferry Road, which is like 6 lanes right there. And there was a cable down, and it was the cable to our main hub. And so what had happened was there was a road that hit Johnson's Ferry Road. All right. Well, this drunk guy was on that road coming towards Johnson's Ferry Road, and he was going to turn right. But before Johnson's Ferry Road, there's this little cutoff where the power lines go. He went down that, went through telephone pole. Not the telephone pole, well, actually, I said power pole. Not the power pole down. They took the power lines. The power went out. Power came back on. So our stuff never went down because we're on batteries. And power company is so extremely efficient. They get stuff fixed. I am always amazed how quickly the power company fixes things. But we can't do anything till they fix their stuff because of safety issues. So it's always power company first, and then the other utilities after that. So power company had been out there. When I got there, their truck was still there. They had restored the pole, restored power, but the phone cable got knocked down. They can't put the phone cable back on, and it's laying across 6 lanes of traffic. So they have the road blocked. They're not letting people drive over the cable, and it's getting close to 5 a.m. by this time. And the DOT, he's like, you need to get this cable put back up. If it is not up by the time the rush hour comes, I'm cutting it. And I said, oh, no, don't do that. So I called the construction people, there's the construction side of AT&T, and they usually only work during the day. And I was like, this has got to be done. It took a while. I finally got a hold of a manager, and I was like, you've got to get somebody out here. And within an hour, so by 6 a.m., they had somebody out there. And that appeased the DOT guy to not let people run over our cable. So again, cable fell off the pole, laying on the street, nothing wrong with it other than it's just laying on the street. And so he finally got it. And so that was me again, saving the day. I didn't physically do anything, but just pointing out the obvious. And it shouldn't be that hard to get somebody out there to fix things. But so AT&T bought Bell South in like 2006, 2007, somewhere around then. And it wasn't AT&T technically. Well, it's AT&T by name, but back in the day, back in '83, actually the last time there was a long strike, I think, 1983, when the phone company got split up by the government because it was a monopoly. And that's when you had a bunch of regional phone companies set up, and they called them baby bells. It'd be like Atlantic Bell, Bell South, or it was Southern Bell at first, and then it became Bell South, and then there was Pacific Bell. There were like 7 or 8 different bells, and so Pacific Bell was a big one. In fact, this is the one that Dilbert came from. The Dilbert comic book. The guy that wrote Dilbert came from Pacific Bell. And the nonsense that's in the Dilbert comics, I totally see it now, working for a phone company. But anyway, Pacific Bell was the bigger bell, and they ended up merging with Bell South. But the smaller company always is the one that suffers, because we had really good procedures in place, but we had to adapt to their way of doing things. And our way of doing things was 24/7. We provide service 24/7. California, where Pacific Bell's based out of, is like, hey, we work noon to or 10 to 2. They don't like doing things after hours. So yeah, that was a problem for us, because we were used to covering things and they just didn't care. That California, I'm not talking negatively about people from California, but it's more laid back than we were. And so that's been almost 20 years of that. So like 17, 18 years of not worrying about it. So that, you know, I was able to stay on that late shift, the midnight shift, for a long time, but about 9 years ago they ended it. AT&T ended it. And so they, instead of somebody being scheduled to work, which is how you get things fixed quickly, they instead want to call you and wake you up at home and have you go out, which is going to take many more times longer to fix. So it's like, imagine there's a trouble at a place in Atlanta. If I'm already at work, it'll only take, and it's the middle of the night, it's only going to take me like 30 minutes to get there. If I'm home in bed, I got to wake up, I got to get dressed, brush my teeth, might have to eat something, might have to make some coffee depending on where it is. Then I got to go get in my truck and then drive there, and I already live farther away. So it's going to take something that would have been a 30-minute response time to a 2-hour response time. So, but it's not usually a problem for the customers. Hey, Cy O'Connor. Pro Lego channel, is the BrickTsar answering machine still live? It's still available. I will answer questions on BrickTsar. I just did a video, but it hasn't posted publicly. It'll be September 1st, so 2 days. There's a BrickTsar answer thingy video posting, so be sure to ask more. Oh man, since I started this live stream, I've lost 3 subscribers. Wait, let me refresh it. Maybe I've lost some more. Let me see. I gotta see this real. No, still, I just lost 3. But anyway, I want to thank everybody that's got in here. I wanted to do an update. If we keep striking, I'll do this every week. I'm hoping we go back to work next week. But for those that don't understand what's going on, I hope this explains it a little bit. It's just the company wants to take away. We want to keep things the same or a little better. I would like, our raises that we get are actually less than the inflation. So we haven't really had a cost of living raise in like 10 or 15 years. Oh, let me tell you something else before I go. Just, again, I know there's a lot of people struggle with jobs and everything, but when we were Bell South, every single year we got a bonus, and it was usually based on things. All right, but it would always be, you know, some years it'd be less, some years it'd be more, but it was always around $2,000. Like, and that's back then. That's 20 years ago, 25 years ago. That was great. You know, $2,000. Who wouldn't want a $2,000 bonus at the end of the year? So we got that. Not only that, we had a program. Now, I wish I was, you know, this is long before YouTube even existed, but there was a program, they called it 5-star, and if you made your 5 metrics, which were the 5 stars, which is usually like, it was like things like dispatch efficiency. That means you get a job, you finish it. Then the number of jobs you did, man, it's been so long ago. I can't even remember all the metrics. Oh well, whatever. If you met them, you got 5-star. And if you got 5-star, you got points into your account. And these points would accumulate each month. And I got a lot of, back then they had a warehouse, they used, I guess, some third-party company, and they had this catalog, and you could go onto the catalog, and they had all, I mean, it was like thousands and thousands of products you could order using your points. Well, one of the things they had in the catalog was Lego sets, and I got a ton of Lego sets, Lego trains, some of the early, like this must have gone into like 2007, because I know I got some trains from around that time period. So even after AT&T, I think they were still doing it. But I got a ton of train sets and other Lego items. In my Bricklink store, I have some shelves that I use for storage. I got those from the catalog. My first, I'm using an iPhone 14, but my first small device like that was a, what would they call it? The Touch? What was the first one of the early? It's like an iPod, but you could do other things besides listen to music. I got one of those for free through that program. So, I mean, we had really good rewards for doing a good job. All that stuff's gone, man. All of it's gone. And our bonus is based on the stock price. And do you know that in 17 years, there's only been 1 year that, so when I say it's based on stock price, so if the stock goes up, we get a multiple of however much that is. So if let's say the multiple is 150. If the stock goes up $1, we get $150. But guess what? The stock's only gone up once. Only gone up once since AT&T took over. And it's almost like every year when it gets to that September, October, whenever they figure that bonus, all of a sudden the stock drops. It's almost like they plan it to drop so they don't have to pay us. I hope, hey, Marty Grant, man, he says, do they tell you negotiators are helping? So they were doing daily updates. I haven't seen anything since August 26th. I have to go to the news to see what's going on. But I know that the guys are still out there picketing and stuff like that. Yeah, they don't tell us very much. But this is Labor Day weekend, so I hope we don't go back to work today, because I'm the one that's scheduled to be on call. If the schedule went as normal, this would have been my week of hell, what I call it. And it's funny. It's like I dread being on call. Y'all have seen it, like when we do the A-Fool podcast over there on Brick Trains channel with Earl, Mardi Gras Man, and Joey, Brick Trains. I've missed 2 of them because I've been on call, and I got called. either right before or even during that. I've been filming videos that through the week I'm on call, and in the middle of my video I get called. There's a couple of videos where you can actually hear part of the conversation. I'm filming a video, my phone rings, and I answer it. I don't know which videos those are, but on BrickTsar there's a couple of videos where I was trying to film a video and I got called into work. So that's why I think, how are they covering all this? Because every week that I'm on call, I worry about that, and now they're trying to do it without us, without the people that have the knowledge. I don't know. Hey SG, hello Model Railway Fan 37. Hey Cut the Craggle. Okay, let me read this comment from Cut the Craggle. It says, funny how employers expect loyalty and dedication from their staff but show none back. Yeah, and it's the same with people that sell stuff, businesses that sell stuff, like Lego. Loyalty, you will find, is a one-way street when it deals with commercial, religious, and political elements. It's always a one-way street. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully next Friday I'll be back at work. And if I'm not, I will do another live stream or another video doing an update. But thanks for the support with your eyeballs, and I will see you guys soon. I gotta go. I spent, what, how long have I been on this stream? 46 minutes? Yeah, I gotta go list some stuff on eBay and make some BrickTsar videos. So yeah, I'll be doing a video about this stuff right here. It'll post sometime in September. But yeah, thanks for watching, and be safe, and